Good morning and welcome to Richard Raw's Daily Meditation from the Centre for Action and Contemplation. The theme this week is Inner and Outer Freedom, and the title of today's contribution, Monday the 15th of June 2020, is Freedom, an Infinite Possibility of Growth. And Richard Raw begins by saying this: the spirituality of the Centre for Action and Contemplation faculty member James Finley has been deeply influenced by the writings of Thomas Merton, who lived between 1915 and 1968. In this passage, Jim explores the paradoxical wisdom that true freedom comes not from following our own will, but in knowing and surrendering to God's will for us. Merton quotes, and this is what James Finley says, Merton quotes Master Eckhart, who lived between 1260 and 1328, as saying, "For God to be is to give being, and for humanity to be is to receive being. Our true self is a received self. At each moment we exist to the extent we receive existence from God, who is existence. Our deepest freedom rests not in our freedom to do what we want to do, but rather in our freedom to become what God wills us to be. This person, this ultimate self God wills us to be, is not a predetermined static mould to which we must conform. Rather, it is an infinite possibility of growth. It is our true self, that is, a secret self hidden in one with the divine freedom. In obeying God, in turning to do God's will, we find God willing us to be free. God created us for freedom. That is to say, God created us for God's self. Phrased differently, we can say that God cannot hear the prayer of someone who does not exist. The false self, constructed of ideologies and social principles, the self that defines itself and proclaims its own worthiness, is most unworthy of the claim to reality before God. Our freedom from the prison of our own illusions comes in realizing that in the end, everything is a gift. Above all, we ourselves are gifts that we must first accept before we can become who we are by returning who we are to the Father. This is accomplished in a daily death to self, in a compassionate reaching out to those in need, and in a detached desire for the silent, ineffable surrender of contemplative prayer. It is accomplished in making Jesus' prayer our own. Father, not my will, but yours be done. Thomas Merton identifies that freedom from the futility of laying hold of God as a possession. Only when we are able to let go of everything within us, all desire to see, to know, to taste, and to experience the presence of God, do we truly become able to experience that presence with the overwhelming conviction and reality that revolutionize our entire inner life. The letting go in the moral order is the living out of the Beatitudes. In the order of prayer, it is in-depth kenosis, an emptying out of the contents of awareness, so that one becomes oneself an empty vessel, a broken vessel, a void that lies open before God and finds itself filled with God's own life. This gift of God is revealed to be the ground and root of our very existence. It is our own true self. Here ends the daily meditation from the Centre for Action and Contemplation. Again, I do very much encourage you to sign up to the Centre for Action and Contemplation and to receive these daily meditations into your own in-trays, as well as listening to them through this video. Richard Raw is just so full of wisdom, and his connections are just so fascinating.